Hello and welcome to Sarcastic Videos. Today I'm going to be talking about Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy, We've Been Thinking, a Netflix original comedy special. For those who don't know, Jeff Foxworthy has been around for a very long time. He's pretty funny. He's most famous for the "you might be a redneck if" jokes, but he's also a pretty funny stand-up comedian. He doesn't do the whole "if you might be a redneck if" bit in this special. Larry the Cable Guy, mostly for redneck, blue collar humor. He's usually pretty funny. He's got the "get her done" catchphrase, which he basically just uses in this to get a round of applause at the beginning. It's not something that he brings up a lot in the special. So what they do is they basically split the special in half. First Jeff Foxworthy, then he introduces Larry the Cable Guy. Jeff Foxworthy was pretty funny. He starts talking about how he knows a medical student who checks prostates. Like that's part of what they do in their third year is they haven't figured out a specialty yet, so they do a little bit of everything. And now this one guy basically volunteers, or maybe he gets paid to go to these classes and get his prostate checked by like 60 med students, and he's been doing it for years. And he's got a few jokes about what would happen after 60 people checked your prostate, which was pretty funny. It was shot during the election, so he talks a little bit about how he should run for president, since apparently anybody can do it, whether you're qualified or not. And one of the things he would change is how he wouldn't make people do things that they shouldn't have to do. And one of those examples that he has is cleaning up your dog poop, which was pretty funny. He talks about how you need to quit wasting valuable cookie dough on sugar-free cookies. If you want sugar-free, you should just eat celery. If you want a cookie, you should be able to have a cookie with all the sugar in it. And getting lawyers to stop making commercials where they're basically trying to convince people to sue other people all the time. So those are the more. Oh, and he also has one about wanting no more parents at Little League games. Because the grown-ups have taken all the fun out of the Little League games, and that there's no trophies for everybody. Because not everybody's a winner. If you lose, you lose. If you win, you get a trophy. So those were all the things that he would change if he was the president. Nothing big there, but he talks about Walmart after midnight and how crazy it is. And then he goes on about, he has a thing, it's called Facts of Life, and it's just a bunch of little rapid fire jokes. Most of them were pretty funny. He talks about if you go to a scary movie, it's more fun to sit behind a group of black women, because then you get a running commentary of the whole movie. And he does a thing about how women would react to each other if they ragged on each other the way men do all the time, with their when they see each other they insult each other, that kind of thing, and how women would react to that. And then he ends with talking about his 5 kidney stones he has, and going on about the pain, and it was going on for 6 weeks, and the medication and having to deal with that. And it goes on for a little bit, but it's pretty funny. It's a funny story. So he was pretty good. And then he introduces Larry the Cable Guy, and if you haven't seen Larry the Cable Guy, most of what he does is play dumb to other things. He has a joke where he talks about the Zika virus, and how it's transferred through mosquitoes, and how drunk do you have to be to have sex with a mosquito, and things like that. It's all about just being dumb, basically. And he talks about how you can't actually take a dump on the crap table at Vegas, stuff like that. He does have some jokes that were funny, going to Vegas, and how when he goes there his friends give him money so he just keeps it. He has some jokes about losing weight, and how he was on Nutrisystem and did some promotion for them, but how they're not happy with him Now he went from Nutrisysm to heartburn promotion. So that was funny, and talks about going to the zoo a little bit. One funny joke he had near the end was he was talking about old people and how weird it is for them to be sexually active in old folks' homes, that they need to have birth control given to them, and how like old people getting naked should be enough to turn everybody off, but it isn't. And he talks a little bit about being married to a younger woman and things like that, but for the most part, a lot of his jokes don't hit, and he acknowledges it. Like he actually jokes about it. At one point, he says, there's a reason Jeff Foxworthy was first and he was second, and he does the whole thing where he taps the microphone and is anybody there kind of thing, and he makes fun of his own jokes that don't hit, saying like the ticket to this show should have been $300 and stuff like that. But in the end, like there were some funny jokes, but like half of them, I would say about half, didn't hit with the crowd, and it was noticeable. The quiet, especially compared to the more laughs that Jeff Foxworthy got. But overall, it was funny. I would say it's a little bit above average. So for this special, like as far as Netflix goes, I would give it a thumbs up. But as far as a rating goes, I would just give it like a 6 out of 10. Jeff Foxworthy was funny. He wasn't, 100% funny, but he was funny. Larry the Cable Guy, I've seen him do better, so I know he's a funny comedian, but in this, he just wasn't that good. Like even like the Blue Collar Tour, I think it is, where he does a half hour with Ron White doing a half hour and Jeff Foxworthy doing a half hour, like that was funnier too. So I don't know why the only doing a half hour might have had a factor, but either way, it wasn't that great of a special. It was funny, but not funny enough that you'd overlook any of the other comedians that are on Netflix and more funny. So I'm gonna rate this 6 out of 10, just a little bit above average, and that is Jeff Foxworthy and Larry the Cable Guy, We've Been Thinking, on Netflix. It's a Netflix original comedy special. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.